Sounds good.
Here's all I want to do, man.
Making music again. Turner flew back to Los Angeles and a news conference where he announced plans for a new album and an autobiography.
When E.D.J. returns, 2 media gangbangs in the nation's capital leave the press panting for more.
I've lost my innocence in this ordeal.
If the left wants to fight with us, they're going to have a fight with us.
There once were a few basic soft drinks. Now, depending on your thirst, your taste, your personality, you might want something a bit different. And that's okay. There's a store with choices enough for everyone. Even your sister, Mary Frances, who changed her name to Marie with 3 E's and drinks only, Avion. Fred Meyer, for people who love great food and lower prices.
Some people add things to their sour cream, things like gums and stabilizers. This is all we add to our sour cream. These are their sour creams. This is ours, Hampshire sour cream from Knudsen, made with pure dairy cream and milk. Thick, rich, indulgently delicious. So you can choose their additives, or you can pick Knudsen and choose your own. Knudsen, the very best.
We make a great cottage cheese, too.
Could I speak to either of the attorneys, Mr. Dixon or Friedman? Dixon and Friedman attorneys. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Oh, hello. I saw your Yellow Page ad that your time is free if you don't win my personal injury case. Is that right? Uh-huh. Yeah? It's great. You know, I've heard a lot of good things about your firm, so I'd like to make an appointment. Uh-huh. 9 tomorrow? I'll be there.
Wednesday on News 8 at 5, we brought you good news for the environment. Hello, I'm Pete Schulberg. As the Northwest struggles to clean up after oil spills, we highlighted a volunteer program that lets you know how you can make a difference. Also, are you being penalized by plastic? We told you what to look for when it comes to the future of department store credit cards. And coming up Thursday on News 8 at 5, creative budget cuts? Watch us Thursday on News 8 at 5 and watch us work for you.
There was some great theater in the nation's capital today with simultaneous press conferences competing for the cameras and using the oldest trick in the book. Bryn Friedman has the story.
Janet, sex and scandal get them every time, and today was no exception, as proponents of a Supreme Court nominee and a sexy self-promoter had their way with the media. And, of course, we were no exception. So they sucked us in along with the rest of the media. And why not? Kay Collins, the former Miss Virginia and current Playboy CoverGirl's press conference, appealed to everybody's prurient interest when she promised to tell all about her affair with Senator Chuck Robb.
Because I'm entitled to tell the truth.
Of course, truth is a tricky thing. The Virginia senator has already denied having an affair with Collins, and Collins has already told her side of the story on national television. But never mind. Collins has the cover of Playboy to promote and her credibility to defend. No contradiction there.
I chose to do the pictures as a model, and I chose to do the story to get something behind me. So, in essence, I was killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
More doublespeak was served up to reporters across town, where supporters of Supreme Court nominee Clarence Thomas also enticed the press corps with the scent of senatorial scandal.
We're just reminding the American people what a bunch of sleazebags these guys are.
To show what a good guy Clarence Thomas is, conservative groups have launched a $500,000 ad campaign which casts aspersions on senators who could keep Thomas from the high court.
Ted Kennedy, suspended from Harvard for cheating, left the scene of the accident at Chappaquiddick where Mary Jo Kopechne died.
Who cares that the White House has condemned these ads? Who cares that Clarence Thomas is embarrassed by his so-called supporters? Like Kay Collins, these guys claim to have the truth on their side.
Is that these ads are credible because they're true. The fact is if they're sleazy, they're only sleazy because these guys are sleazy.
To paraphrase the motto of another maligned institution, neither rain nor snow nor heat of scandal will keep the media from its appointed rounds.
Never. Thank you.
Meanwhile, back in Hollywood, a big movie is in trouble. Shakespeare is spinning in his grave, and some cops are making Cher sweat. Mitchell Fink is here now with those trade secrets.
Jim, the ultimate insult in Hollywood is to have your movie compared to Michael Cimino's epic 1980 disaster, Heaven's Gate. Of course, not all comparisons to Heaven's Gate are warranted, case in point being last year's Runaway Academy Award winner, Dances with Wolves, which was referred to facetiously during production as Kevin's Gate, simply because director Kevin Costner was over budget and behind schedule. But now comes another gate, Billy Bathgate, based on the E.L. Doctorow novel and starring Dustin Hoffman. The Disney project is reportedly in such sorry shape that Hollywood cynics are now calling it Billy Bath Heaven's Gate. And look for award-winning playwright David Mamet to adapt Shakespeare's Hamlet for Whoopi Goldberg. I assume it's a comedy. And finally, Fox Broadcasting got a call last week from Cher's office asking for the last few episodes of the show Cops. Why did Cher want cops? Because she works out to it. I'm Mitchell Fink, and hey, whatever gets you through the night.
And speaking of cops, there's been a surprising number of celebrity arrests in recent months. Now from New York, Liz Smith has the deep dish on the most surprising one of all.
The great film star Hedy Lamarr, now nearly 77 years old, recently made headlines in Florida on shoplifting charges and wound up portrayed as destitute in the supermarket tabloids. It was an inglorious picture of one of the most glorious faces ever to grace the silver screen. Well, I talked to Hedy Lamarr recently, and I can tell you she's definitely not destitute, nor is she a criminal. What she is legally blind and a little absent-minded. What she did was pick up some eye drops and other sundries on a trip to a Florida drugstore with a friend who had already bought $60 worth of stuff. Hedy says she had her purchases in hand and began to walk out, thinking her friend had paid for them. She was stopped, the cops were called, and the rest is history. Now there are crimes and there are crimes. Lamar's attorneys are trying to get the charges dropped, but the drugstore is still pressing. Florida is certainly the land of high crimes and misdemeanors these days, from Two Live Crew to Pee-wee to Hedy. And you better believe celebrity has everything to do with it. Shouldn't our high sheriffs be concerning themselves with real criminals on the mean streets and on Wall Street instead of tormenting an elderly woman who's given us so much pleasure in the past? This is Liz Smith in New York, and I say, lighten up on Hedy Lamarr.
Coming up, fire the babysitter and fire up the popcorn. Pay-per-view television wants you to spend your money at home.
I call it ripping off the public.
The problem. Smith's is tremendously overstocked from a delayed store opening in Spokane. The solution. A massive company-wide inventory reduction event featuring incredible values like these. A leading technology computer for just $10.95. You get many excellent features plus a 14-inch color monitor for one low price, $10.95. Plus, long-term deferred financing on any purchase of $2.99 or more. Through Monday only. During the incredible inventory reduction event at Smith's.
Ladies, it's here. The weight loss and figure control method everyone is talking about has just come to your area, inches away. The only three-phase figure correction program, an individualized low-fat eating plan, exclusive inches away figure correction equipment designed for the problem areas of the female figure, plus individualized counseling to guide you through each phase of the program. Call now for a complete figure analysis. But hurry, it's for a limited time only. Let us show you the way to a beautiful figure. Call Inches Away today.
What makes good evening so good?
Well, it's local. That's why I think it's so great.
The bottom line is, it's a half hour of fun TV.
We're entertainment, but we're information, too.
That's right. We tell you what movies to go to, what the best places to stay are.
And we have fun.
What is the bottom line, though, Dave?
What is the bottom line?
It's a half hour of television that is totally captivating.
Enthralling.
You got it.
Great times on Good Evening tonight at 7:30.
I'm Teresa Richardson from Channel 8's Good Evening. KGW-TV and Miller Paint and Wallpaper invite you to Paint Homes for the Needy September 21st. Reach Community Development has targeted homes in our area in need of new paint. Miller supplies the paint and brushes. You supply the help. So please join us Saturday, September 21st and help paint homes for the needy. Call REACH at 231-0682 and find out how you can help.
Rounding out a day of celebrity press conferences, there was an odd one in New York. Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield, ever somber in sartorial splendor, suited up to meet the press. It looked like an old-fashioned fashion show, but it was really a plug for their November heavyweight title fight. Both fighters will get a cut of the ticket sales, but the big money will come from pay-per-view TV, courtesy of America's couch potatoes. Tom Berman reports on what some are calling pay-through-the-nose television.
In a few seconds, Dawn Bachman will have ordered hours of entertainment.
Thank you for calling. Please hang up now.
Just like that, without driving to the movies or a video store, Bachman and her family can watch a blockbuster movie at home for about $4 on pay-per-view television. And she loves it.
It's cheaper for me, so I prefer it. And it's more comfortable at home, and especially with children.
Don't tell that to Henry Schaefer. He likes watching sports on TV, and he's afraid the sports he used to get for free or for his regular cable charge will soon only be available if he pays even more for pay-per-view, and he hates it.
It'll cost you more, but that's life, because this is what we call progress. Okay, I call it ripping off the public.
Call it what you want. Pay-per-view television is a growing phenomenon, although many people still don't understand it. Pay-per-view channels like Request and Viewer's Choice are different from pay TV channels like HBO, which you buy for a whole month. On pay-per-view, you pick specific things you want to watch and order them one by one.
You don't pay anything until you make that decision that you want to watch it.
Pay-per-view channels are only available on cable TV, and you can only order if you have a certain kind of cable box. Right now, only about 1/3 of cable customers do, but that's changing fast.
And over the next 10 years, I think you will see it become a much more significant part of everyone's home entertainment.
It'll be totally pervasive. It'll be every place. You'll have probably on any one evening a choice of anywhere from 2 to 4 movies. You will have several concerts, several fights, and you'll choose to buy your ticket.
Holyfield landing inside. Buying a ticket to watch TV may sound crazy, but it's already happening. About 1.5 million people paid $34.95 apiece to watch the Holyfield-Foreman Heavyweight Championship. That brought in about $50 million, the top pay-per-view event ever.
Boxing has traditionally been the top producer in pay-per-view events. So far, really, only boxing and wrestling have worked.
Or at least worked big. James Brown's Return from Prison concert cost $19.95 and did moderately well. But the real pay-per-view story isn't what's been on in the past, it's what's ahead.
Don Criqui and Kathleen Sullivan back in Barcelona, Spain with a preview of the 1992 Summer Olympic Games.
Even though there'll be about 160 hours of taped coverage from the Barcelona Olympics free on NBC TV next summer, there will also be more than 1,000 hours of different taped and live coverage on 3 pay-per-view channels with no commercials. The so-called Olympics triple cast will be the most extensive pay-per-view coverage ever, and the most expensive, from $95 to $170.
In the average market, there'll be 96% of the homes who watch the free over-the-air coverage, and only 4% of the TV homes in that market will opt to buy pay-per-view. And if that happens, we're very, very successful.
That would be Henry Schaefer's nightmare.
They suck the audience into watching pay-per-view for the Olympics, while NBC is doing hundreds of hours on free TV. Then I just throw in the hat. I give up.
Schaefer is afraid if the pay-per-view Olympics can compete with the free broadcast, then it won't be long before Major League Baseball or the NFL start pulling some of their games off free network TV and put them on pay-per-view. And once that happens, he wonders how long will it be before the World Series or the Super Bowl are pay-as-you-go.
I never say never, because it's the entertainment business, it's the sports business. The players may demand it because the revenue potential is so great.
There is no government regulation of pay-per-view right now, but lawmakers will be keeping a close eye on the industry as it develops. The hope is that pay-per-view will offer people more choices rather than take anything away.
Well, the government is obvious looking at World Series and Super Bowls and things of that sort. But you want the government to regulate the opera when you can take the opera to more people?
The Metropolitan Opera's 25th anniversary concert later this month is exactly the kind of event that'll bring countless new customers to pay-per-view. Still, don't say Henry Schaefer didn't warn you.
And the public now is forced once again to dig into their pocket for something they got literally for nothing when it was on the over-the-air channel.
By the way, the pay-per-view payday for the Tyson-Holyfield fight is expected to set an all-time record. Promoters haven't decided yet how much to charge each household, but the fighters are guaranteed a total of $45 million. So if that fight goes a full 15 rounds, that's $1 million a minute.
That's nearly $17,000 a second. They're in the right business. When E.D.J. continues, Liz Taylor's breakfast at Tiffany's, and lunch and dinner, too.
Hazelnut Belgian Cafe from General Foods International Coffees. Another way to celebrate.
It doesn't seem so far away. I think of it now and then. And in one sweet moment, I can bring it back again.
You don't have to travel far to remember the taste of Belgium. Hazelnut Belgian Cafe. A smooth, rich coffee with a light hazelnut flavor.
Celebrate the moments of your life.
In today's financial climate, you need the strength and stability of the Buffalo. At Hennessy & Bowles.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going and...
It's a comfort to know more people have taken Sominex over the past 30 years than any other sleep aid. Safe, simple Sominex.
Now you can see why I don't send my kids back to school in brand new clothes. And they grow out of their clothes so fast.
So when it's back to school time, we go back to Deseret Industries. They have a huge selection to choose from at prices you won't believe. And when you donate to or buy from Deseret Industries, you give a new life to all kinds of goods and a good life to all kinds of people, including yourself. You made me beautiful again.
Recently, when I became deathly ill, I was able to summon an ambulance, my next-door neighbor, my family, and my doctor without picking up a telephone. I used this remote control to contact Life Call, my 24-hour emergency medical response service. Watch. You just press this button and speak into the air and...
I'm having chest pain.
I'm calling paramedics and your family, Mr. Miller.
I've fallen, and I can't get up.
We're sending help immediately, Mrs. Fletcher.
See? Protect yourself with Life Call, and you're never alone. To get complete free information by mail about this affordable medical emergency response system, call toll-free now. Life Call can save your life, so call to get free details by mail right away.
For free information about Life Call, call 1-800-843-1900. That's 1-800-843-1900.
Travel provided by American Airlines, together with American Eagle, serving over 270 destinations, including Europe, Central, and South America. American Airlines, something special in the air.
And finally, just 32 shopping days left before Liz Taylor ties the knot with that construction guy, Larry Fertensky. So for all of you harried friends of the bride and groom who are worried about what to get for the newlyweds, we have this hint. Liz has registered her flatware pattern at, where else? Tiffany's. The style is called Audubon. Perhaps Liz thinks it'll help her eat like a bird. The price tag isn't for the birds, however. The requested 12-place settings with accessories cost a cool $17,600. But you'd think that after 7 marriages, she'd have all that stuff by now.
You can never have too much flatware. Tomorrow on E.D.J., the network's version of Tin Men trot out their fall TV wares for Madison Avenue ad men.
And the man who started it all 64 years ago. Philo T. Farnsworth invented television, but he didn't get rich from it. I'm